pop-up question, and if you pay attention to this video, you'll get the answer. Let me know in the comments down below. What is the advantage of 32-bit audio versus 24-bit audio? The R5 Mark II records 4 channels of audio, especially when you record RAW, which you can set, meaning that you've got 2 channels through the mic jack and then another 2 channels off of the microphone in the camera itself. But what if I told you that the major limitation can be annoying? With all those audio features that it has, it doesn't have 32-bit audio, which seems to be the raw of audio nowadays. You see, a problem that exists for a while when it comes to setting your audio settings in any camera or audio recording device is that sometimes being in a certain place, the audio that you're going to get is going to be unpredictable. You don't know how low or loud it's going to be, but you want to make sure that you set it in the right levels in your camera so that it doesn't pop or go too loud. And you never want to use automatic audio settings, because when you use that, unfortunately, you get a lot of jumps and weird clips in your audio that you don't want when you want everything to sound normal. For example, when everything's quiet, it bumps up the gain and then you hear a lot of noise, and you don't want that when you're recording audio. But 32-bit audio allows you to record and not worry about setting the gain settings before you record, because it's just going to record everything. It's got a large dynamic range, and then in post you can just adjust the settings so that you get the audio clear with what you want. Now this is something that I needed because I'm about to record a singing karaoke session where the room is very loud, and I need to record from an external recorder. It's going to be the soundboard that I'm hooking up to, and when I'm hooking up to the soundboard, it is going to be only to one port that I don't have any control of the volume settings over. So I wanted to be sure that if I'm going to record and have an external device that I can actually set the gains on that too, that I didn't have too much to worry about. Just recording. Welcome, my name is Magnus. I like to talk about cameras, mirrorless cameras specifically for video. So if you like that stuff, consider subscribing. Today, I'm talking about giving the Canon R5 Mark II the ability to record 32-bit audio. Like I was saying, internally, you don't get that. But I purchased a device that I've actually owned the previous versions of for many years. I purchased the Zoom H4 Essential. Now, the Zoom H4 Essential is similar to the Zoom H4n, which I've used for a number of years to be able to record audio externally from a camera. Now, I've used the Zoom H4n, which is the previous version of the Zoom H4 Essential, and that's allowed me to use multiple inputs to record from any audio device that I needed in really high quality audio. But the limitation to that is that the audio was up to 24 bits, and it didn't have what dynamic range I'm looking for to basically set it or forget it. You had to set the gain before you started recording. Well, the Zoom H4 Essential, you don't have to do that. You plug it in, you press record, and you should be good to go. Now, the particular setup that I'm looking to do with the Zoom H4 Essential to record to the Canon R5 Mark II is particular, which means that there are some gain levels that I do have to send, because you can use the Zoom H4 Essential to record to the Canon R5 Mark II, but internally it's still going to be 24-bit. However, having that recording backup from the Zoom H4 Essential does let me sync them in post and then get the audio quality that I want. Here's what I'm going to do. Now, the soundboard itself is going to have only one connection that I can connect to, because the owner doesn't want me to connect to anything else. I've only got the ability to plug a 1/4-inch audio cable into the headphone out port, and the headphone out port only has one volume dial. Now that's really limiting. The advantage of 32-bit kind of goes out the window in a sense, because I'm using this headphone out port that has its own volume dial, and if something's blown out on that and it goes into my device, that really limits me, right? But at that point, if it's blown out off of that headphone jack, it's probably blown out in the whole presentation anyway. So there's minimal worry about that. So Because I'm going to be using the Canon R5 Mark II on a gimbal, the other challenge is I'm recording the event and the karaoke singers and everything in this huge place. I'm not going to be wired into that, right? So I'm plugging the Zoom H4n into that headphone out port using a 1/4-inch cable on both sides, because the Zoom H4n does have XLR inputs, but it does also have 1/4-inch. And the H4 Essential requires you, like, if you're going to record with that type of output, granted, it's not a line output, but it's not a microphone output. So microphone would be traditionally XLR. I'm going to use the 1/4-inch input on the bottom of the device, but I only have a male 1/4-inch to male XLR, and then I have a female XLR to male 1/4-inch. So I'll connect those two together and then have male 1/4-inch on each side. So that'll work. Plug it in on the left and the right. See, because that male 1/4-inch goes to two male XLR ports, one for the left and one for the right side. Because part of the challenge that I was finding was, when I was testing, is that when you plug into those ports, it splits the audio and you'll only get part of what you're looking for. And I needed the whole presentation. So I have that splitter, plug in each side, and then plug into the left and right port of the Zoom H4 Essential to be able to get left and right audio. Because if not, I get like, I hear the music, but then I don't hear the singers. And I don't want that to happen, since I tested it out around here. I then plug the Zoom H4 Essential via its headphone out port into my Rode Wireless Go. And the Rode Wireless Go can then broadcast into my receiver on the camera. So I'll have the other Rode Wireless Go receiver on top of my camera, and thank goodness it's small. And then I can record the karaoke, what's on the soundboard, right into my camera. Now, the sound is not perfect. Let me show you this test that I ran actually on my computer to see what it would sound like. I connected my keyboard into the Zoom H4 Essential because my keyboard has a 1/4-inch out, and I can get pure audio and not deal with copyright issues. So if you see here, I have a bunch of audio channels. Now the audio channels, these 4 channels that you have is with the R5's video, because the R5 records what you have connected into the microphone input, and then also the onboard microphones of the R5, which actually comes in handy. So I'm going to mute all channels here. This bottom is actually what the Zoom H4 Essential recorded in the device itself. I'm going to show you what the R5 Mark II recorded off of its onboard microphones. You don't really hear much, right? Just me playing the keyboard, but no sound coming out. Now, I'm going to also open up, well, I'm going to forward it actually a little bit so you can hear me talking. So that's just the R5 Mark II onboard speaker. But now I'm going to mute that and unmute the line in that was coming in to the R5 Mark II from the Rode Wireless Go that was connected to everything. Now what you heard there is the actual audio from the input, but there's noise there. That kind of stinks, because I wish it was just clean audio. But that noise, you can handle it in noise removal, but of course that degrades the audio quality that you get a little bit. However, when I go back to check how the audio recorded specifically in the Zoom H4 Essential, this is what you hear. No noise. The audio itself was clean, and that's what I'm looking for. You see, it allows me to actually have the ability to not only hear what's going on in front of the camera, but also sync the audio that I have, since I was recording off of the Wireless Go, with the files that I get from the Zoom H4 Essential, which are extremely clean, and I can use to, of course, edit in post for the whole presentation, which is what I was looking for.
Take it away, girl.
Okay.
Come on. Tell me something, boy. Am I early?
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the actual setup of what I've got going on, if I play it here real quickly, it's a little blurry, but from what you can see, the 1/4-inch input of the keyboard, which is what I'm going to hook up, and then I have this splitter that's set up on the side that's connected via XLR to two XLR female to 1/4-inch male ports that go in, see, to the Zoom H4 Essential. See, both those ports, it'll go into those ports, and then I'll be able to record off of the Zoom H4 Essential. Now, as you can see here, what's written there is XLR mic TRS line. That's the device telling you that if you need the best quality, only use the XLR when you're actually using microphones, like what I'm doing now. And I'm recording this to the H4 Essential. So since I'm using a microphone, it's going into the microphone port, no problem. But because this is kind of similar to a line, even though it's like a headphone out, it's best to put it to a line, which is the 1/4-inch inputs. And that's what I did here, so that I can ensure that I get the best audio quality recording in. And that's basically it. That's the setup that I'm going to go for. And of course, using the Rode wireless mic goes was going to be very convenient. But because of that, I get not only multiple channels of audio in the camera as backups, but also 32-bit audio, so that if it's too loud or too low, I can get it just right. I've told you many times that I prefer raw recording, but I never had that audio raw recording. Well, now I do with the R5 Mark II, and quite frankly, any camera that I've got with using the H4 Essential, which is basically a requirement. It's what I need, so I don't have to worry about audio quality. And you guys can use that, and there are other devices too that bring you that 32-bit recording convenience in order for you to get what you need out of it. Now, do you guys record in 32-bit audio? Do you have any one of these devices? If not, I highly recommend it, because if you record raw video, but you don't have the ability to record this raw audio or 32-bit, you gotta change. It's a game changer. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And replace your Zoom H4Ns if you haven't done so already. Those things are old at this point. But as always, let me know. And that's it. Let me know if you got the answers right. And if you didn't answer the question down below, if you didn't remember the question, it was, what's the advantage of 32-bit audio versus 24-bit audio? If you made it to the end, you already know that answer. But as always, you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys later.